My own mother thought I was a monster. She was right, of course, but it still hurt.
You're pretty.
Together, you and I will be the strongest couple in the entire world. We will dominate the earth!
Hello everyone, it's your Bud. Today we will be talking about Azula, the Lightning Princess, the psycho sister of Prince Zuko, ruthless and cunning, merciless and cruel. And though her mother believed something was quite wrong with her, Azula's father was quite pleased. The Fire Lord's brutal nature passing on to his daughter, and from a young age she tormented her brother and whatever or whoever else she could, not even seeming to get joy or satisfaction from torture or cruelty, perhaps a momentary chuckle at another's expense, yet seemingly not enough for her to continue this way year after year. Though many times she can be seen enjoying tormenting others, I believe she only does it out of a twisted sense of self-worth. As being the Fire Lord's daughter, she cannot allow any others to appear more successful than her, and so she merely brings them down, so she needs not fear about being unworthy of her father's standards. Remember how wrapped up with honor Zuko was in the beginning of the story. I think Azula never left that behind her, and so she torments to keep others from threatening her position as princess. And though she can get momentary joy out of tormenting others or out of their suffering, it does not seem to be the deeper motive behind these actions. Azula is a lightning bender, one of, if not my favorite types of bending ever. She is shown to be able to summon it from thin air, as like all other firebending. And when Azula chooses not to use lightning and to attack with fire instead, it is not red, but a bright blue flame. Now I'm no scientist, but immediately as I'm writing this script, I remember that flame color and temperature are related, and I just looked it up and blue is hotter. If you see an open flame like a candle, you'll see the orange on the outside and the blue on the inside where it's hotter. So while not stated, in Avatar, it can be assumed that Azula's flames are hotter. Not only that, but there's no orange in her flame, meaning all of the fuel is burning off rapidly. If any of the fuel particles were able to keep from igniting, the fire would not stay as blue. At least that's what I'm able to understand. So her flames are not only hotter, but burning every particle of fuel that they are fed, wasting nothing. Lightning bending is an even more extreme version of this if I'm correct. I think lightning bolts and fire are just both plasma, and so the larger percent of fuel particles or whatever you ignite, the bluer it gets on the color spectrum. By the way, bluer is a scientific term, in case you're wondering. I've always loved and hated Azula. She is the worst, but such a good villain and character for Team Avatar to interact with. Her, Ty Lee, and May are the perfect foils to Sokka, Katara, and Toph, as well as the Kyoshi warriors. And I feel sad that Azula's story ended where it did. There's a single picture that I just found that I'm going to use in this video of Zuko and Azula. It's over a sort of rainbow background, and it looks like it's after all of the events, and it really makes me wonder how her story ends. Azula is quite brilliant, always seen pulling schemes off and tricking the tricksters, like the Dai Li. And no, that's not Ty Lee the acrobat, but the Dai Li, the secret police of the Earth Kingdom and Ba Sing Se. Azula's integrating with the Dai Li was one of the most nerve-wracking parts of Avatar, and she almost managed to succeed. And she would have if it weren't for those crazy kids and that sky bison too. I think the greatest enemy of Azula was her father. Though Azula is seen to befriend Ty Lee and May, she has no other relationships with any other Fire Nation citizens, except those two old twins. Zuko left the Fire Nation and had Iroh, but Azula only had those two creepy old twins. So she didn't have anyone to look up to, only adults to despise, and May and Ty Lee to torture and tease. I think if her mother had survived, then she would have made sure Azula had more role models. If Azula grew up with the presence of an older woman who could stand her ground in the court of the Fire Lord while still being true to herself, then Azula might have been shown the path to do the same. But she was surrounded by old men, old twin women, and her father, who was the most powerful man in the world at the time, the Phoenix Lord Ozai, aka Luke Skywalker. It's Mark Hamill doing the voice acting if you didn't know. I can't imagine anyone turning out stable in that environment. Usually in shows like this, there's badass women that can beat up any man, but there's no notable woman in the court of the Fire Lord. You think there would have been like at least one general or something. General Zhao, that's his name, right? General Zhao was the only other named character in the Fire Nation military, but I think it would have been great if Azula had a role model. You know, if Azula's mother ever thought the Fire Lord might want her gone, then you think she would have befriended another person to be a role model and teacher for Azula. Or maybe she tried to and was discovered. Azula is a tragic character, and by the end of the Avatar show is more like a caged beast, screaming in rage and anger. Her only strength being able to manifest her rage, hatred, cruelty, and fury in burning blue flame and lightning, at a destructive level far beyond most benders. Able to effortlessly infiltrate the most guarded nation's throne rooms, to capture powerful benders, or to out-scheme the head of the secret police of the Earth Kingdom. In any challenge that leaves out emotions, Azula is the clear winner. In a duel of a battle of wits, her shrewd and cunning mind can pick apart the most composed man and leave him broken and defeated, whether physically or mentally, breaking their bodies or their spirits depending on her whim. I don't know how much I could say in this video. I was watching some clips about her and, well, whenever she mentions her childhood, I feel bad for her. But then she plays it off by saying something almost unredeemable, and it immediately shatters the perception that she was forced to become who she is. The truth is, she chose to be like this, and she chose her own path. The proof of this is no clearer than the day she became Fire Lord. The day she was given control was the day she failed, as she always had only one goal: to keep others from attaining her birthright. After she became Fire Lord, all of the citizens of the Fire Nation, every single one, became a rival waiting to claim power in her mind, one to banish and to keep from interfering with her life. If Azula had a grand plan, then she could have put those citizens to work. If Azula had a goal, I never learned it. If she had a dream, I never found out about it. If she wished for something, I never got to see it. And if she tried to attain something, I never saw it happen. Azula was completely reactionary, as was Zuko in Zuko's earlier days. Chasing the Avatar, he chased to regain his honor, reacting, not choosing his path. And when he did choose, he chose Team Avatar, and he became an active person. Azula remained passive or reactive, only taking actions that the Fire Lord wanted. Azula remained passive or reactive to the wishes of the Fire Lord. I don't think Azula was even in it for the Fire Nation. She was just in it for herself. And when I say it, I mean all her little schemes, plots, and cruel acts. If she was devoted to the Fire Nation, like Fire Nation grunt Azula has challenged you to a fight. If she was devoted to the Fire Nation, that would be different. Like if she was like, you know, the whole Team Magma thing where they're all like, yeah, go Team Magma, we're all evil. I mean, that would be different. She didn't have to be a team player, but if she had some nationalism or at least pride, being Fire Nation, I think that would be good. But she seemed to only care for being a princess and making sure that she was treated like one, not wanting the responsibilities of Fire Lord or the emotional connections of the people. I fear what a fervent and emotionally charged dictator she could have become if she was loved by her people, whipping them into a frenzy with her speeches and feeding on their adoration like a certain evil guy in real-world history. I'm really glad Azula didn't learn to desire love. Had she gone down that path, she may have had many more besides Ty Lee and May to defend her. A frightening thought. So, while one can feel sympathy for Azula's childhood, there's not much else to feel sympathy about. She chose her actions. And although she only had her mother as a role model, and we don't know anything about her aunt, Iroh's wife, Having Azula grow up in a ruthless palace, knowing of her father's attack to claim the throne from her grandfather, being well aware that her family fights to the death for power would have been a great influence, and it twisted any hope of a good life out of Azula and left her filled only with cruelty, malice, and rage that can only be tempered by witnessing or inflicting suffering upon those beneath her. I didn't talk about lightning bending in this because, well, it's lightning and Azula can bend it. There's no special moves or anything. You don't have to be intricate or complicated to blast lightning at something. You just need incredible amounts of raw and intense energy, burning every particle of fuel at once, launching it at your opponent and almost always killing upon impact. The only way to avoid the fatal blow being if the target redirects the lightning through their own body, safely passing through the heart and out the other arm. If the lightning is not pulled through the body, it will release its energy in whichever place it hits, spreading through the nervous system, frying and shocking them. There are a few types of lightning, 6 total that I was able to see on Google when I did a quick search. The first is sheet lightning. The second is called cloud to ground or cloud to cloud, also known as fork lightning. The third is heat lightning. Fourth is St. Elmo's fire. Fifth is called ball lightning. And then there are red sprites, green elves, and blue jets. Sheet lightning, cloud to cloud, or ground to ground, also heat lightning, is all just names for how lightning bolts form and when, whether they don't ever leave the clouds, hence known as sheet lightning, whether they are connecting 2 points, ground to ground, cloud to cloud, or ground to cloud, or whether they are heat induced by the summertime. St. Elmo's fire is more of a glow when a positive object is on the ground and a negative charged cloud is above it, usually appearing as a green or blue glow. Ball lightning is just that. Small balls of lightning often seen bouncing around on clouds. Red sprites disperse upwards in clusters in a wide range of shapes, apparently lasting milliseconds. Green elves appear as fat, dim, greenish glows that expand out like a donut. And blue jets are similar to red sprites, only much more rapid and blue, and burst from the top of a thundercloud in a cone shape going upwards. I mean, okay, that's a new one that I did not know about. So there are a few different types of lightning that Azula had access to, although it would have been a nightmare to animate all of those. Still though, I'd like to see the bending of different types of lightning. I guess the best I have for now is Fire Force. There's some good fire bending in that show, as well as plasma bending. Azula, the Lightning Princess, is one of my favorite characters in Avatar. Her takeover of Ba Sing Se is one of my favorites, and I just love to hate her. I wish she could have learned some empathy for a single one of the Fire Nation. I really think I would have liked her character much more if she had someone to care for. But in the end, the only one she cared for was herself. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I just looked out my window and the sun is rising. It's completely up now. I've been up all night, but I've been trying to get this video together and also to get organized for tomorrow's bloodbending video. I was super excited to talk about Azula, but really when it came down to it, I just kept thinking of one word. It's a word I've tried not to type so many times when describing Azula, but I just keep coming back to it. She is one psycho bitch.
I looked this woman in the eye, I said, bitch.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said. I said, babe.
Hey guys.
Hey girl, how you doing, man? You having a good time? You seen the bedroom?
Anyways, thanks for watching this video on Azula. Lightning bending is one of, if not my favorite bending, and Azula is the best at it. So I have always enjoyed her character, and whether I think she's good or evil, I cannot imagine how capable she could have become with proper training and support, instead of being left to fend for herself her entire life. I didn't really mention her mom or Zuko, but if I make a video on Zuko, then she will have a more impactful meaning as part of his video. While she does have that one good scene with Azula when Azula goes crazy, I think the family is more fitting in a video about Zuko. Like this video if you want some more Avatar. As I mentioned, I'm making a bloodbending video for tomorrow, so stick around for more Avatar. Leave any questions or suggestions in the comments below, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching.
You are banished. Leave this palace immediately. You're all banished.
But
Goodbye.